ADHDs females, ADHD AF, ADHDs females, the podcast.
This is exciting, isn't it?
This is exciting. We have got Steph here from All the Discos. You might be familiar with her because you may have already purchased some of her fantastic merchandise that we have on our website. And if you haven't seen it, you need to hop on now and check it out.
Yeah, get stuck into that via the link in our bio. So we're very excited to have the wonderful Stephanie with us. Hello, Steph.
Hi, how you doing?
Good, how are you doing?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks. Lovely to be here with you.
Stephanie is sitting at home in Norwich with a wonderful neon lightning bolt behind her and wearing her wonderful mismatching leopard print super disco bolts, ADHD AF styly, and they're incredible.
Yes.
So Steph is also one of my very, very best friends. We have been friends since we were, I think, 11.
Yeah, I think about then, yeah.
And so I'm very, very excited to have Stephanie on here. Steph, introduce yourself. Tell us all the things.
So my name is Steph. I run a jewellery and accessories brand called All the Discos. It's very much inspired by the 1980s and pop culture, those sort of things. Massive fan of Angela Lansbury, who is my muse for all things in life. And yeah, I make earrings, as has just been discussed. Lightning bolts are a big favourite of mine. That's kind of where my brand started. So I make bolts, I make all different shapes, but they're all very bright colours, bright patterns, glitter. And I also make the capes that you might have seen as well, which are made from recycled and repurposed party decoration.
Which is absolutely genius.
I mean, where that came from was just after I've done a few pop-ups, and everything about my brand sort of screams party. So There's been a lot of decorations and that involved in it. And then over lockdown, I kind of realised I had all of these things still lying around because I was loath to throw anything like that away. And I just wondered what I could do with them. And I turned them into capes.
It's absolutely
amazing.
Genius. It's so cool. It must take you ages.
It does. I do hand place every single piece of tinsel on every single cape. I haven't counted how many pieces of tinsel it takes, because I think that will make a cape take at least 10 times longer than it normally would make one by counting them all. But I should one day, so that when somebody asks, I can say, like, there are 1,000 tinsel on this cape, or however many. I'm going to surprise myself actually how much tinsel is on a cape one day. But
yeah, so tell us a little bit about how you came to start working with us.
So, as Laura has explained, we are friends from childhood, and we also have a business together, which with a couple of other friends, which is called the Emporium of. Laura, as you know, makes her amazing sunglasses and headpieces, and with my jewellery and capes. We got together last year at Secret Garden Party to create this wonderful emporium where we were selling our wares, and we had our friends Ash and Sam, who were DJing and providing a load of entertainment throughout the weekend as well. And having had the most amazing time doing that, we had decided to do it some more, I suppose. And keep it going, keep the party going. So yeah, that's kind of where our business sort of sit together. Obviously, our friendship is really important to me, and I wanted to be there to support everything that you guys are doing. So I'm just really happy to help.
Yeah, it's very, very exciting. So it's really, really lovely to have you on. And it's really lovely because it's just funny. We basically speak every day in like multiple different ways. There's kind of like drag race afters discussions, and then we've also got the Emporium of stuff, the planning of next summer, ideas for jewelry, orders that are coming in. We're kind of having multiple conversations at all times every single day, and it's really, really lovely. So our Emporium of is like kind of a happy accident, just bringing of people together, a meeting of minds, and then we've turned into this quartet of creatives. The girls, Ashley and Sam, are dance teachers. They have a charity called School of Street in Blackpool.
Amazing.
Yeah, teaching children street dance and life skills and all sorts of things. And now they are incredible DJs called the Bells of the Ball. And there's just never been such silliness, just absolute ridiculousness, morning, noon and night. And it was kind of at that festival where I started to realize, like, obviously on this journey, that word, you're sort of picking back, reflecting over your life, and I suddenly realized that the reason why I've always been drawn to festivals and also, well, raving in general, isn't just because I'm a mad party head. It's in part, but also because I realized that those sorts of spaces are really magical spaces for neurodivergent people, because it's this time where it's like, it's almost like another world for that set amount of time.
Yeah.
Like the rules of society don't necessarily apply, or any rules that there are kind of few and far between. You can dress how you like, you can say what you like. It's perfectly normal to walk up to somebody and just be like, I really like your jumper, can I have a hug? Or do you know, whatever the hell you want to do. It's, you know, different set of rules. And I suddenly realized the value in that. And so we created this really, really magical space where it's like, you know, anti-VIP culture, everybody's welcome, no ego, come in, like very nostalgic. We're calling ourselves like rave aunties, but you know, like it's like, come in, have a hug. Do you want a cup of tea? Here's a biscuit. Like just good vibes. And really that's what festivals should all be about. So it's wonderful. And I'm so happy about that. There was definitely a time when I thought that festivals were never going to come back, and that whole part of my life was over. So it's really wonderful to be doing that with really amazing friends with like shared vision and shared goals and shared energy.
That's what I was going to say. Was that all really fits our ethos with the podcast as well, though. So
exactly.
It just seems to be like a match made, like it fits.
Yeah,
it really does. It all ties in together, and this, you know, this idea of acceptance and difference, and it's just a really, really special, supportive community vibes.
Yeah,
and everyone can sort of have a cuddle, really.
And if there's one thing we like, it's a bit of fun as well, and it's just about having fun and being a bit silly and leaving your inhibitions at the door a little bit as well, you know, or however you want to do it. Like I'm the karaoke queen of the tent. So you know,
can take that ground,
and it doesn't take long. If nobody else wants to do it, and there's this track on the playlist, then I'll go up and sing it, even if I've never heard it before. So
she serenaded a certain A-list actress with Could It Be Magic?
I did. I wanted to sing something else, and you wouldn't let me because it would have given away who it was.
Well, just so you know, if I'm ever there and we're around, you're going to have some competition.
Oh yes,
done. We'll do battles. It's amazing. Yeah,
we can duet.
It's just duets.
I'll be Elton John. You can be Kiki D.
Yeah, absolutely fine.
Oh, I love it. So I'm really super proud of that. I'm really excited about it, but also I feel really, it's like kind of weird because you're here and it's like I'm talking about you, but you're here. But I hope you don't mind. I just really want to share this. Like, I'm really proud of our relationship because it's like we hit some really hard times, and I think that like I would be surprised if there's a single ADHDer amongst us that hasn't lost friendships or relationships, either romantic or family or whatever, because it's a bit like when we were talking to the ADHD babes, Vivian said the wrecking ball of ADHD just sort of swings in and takes out different things, takes out your education or takes out relationships here or there. Because with undiagnosed ADHD, you don't necessarily even understand what you're going through. I think it's funny. It's like one of the things I always think about is in all the times where my behavior might have seemed strange to others, their behavior felt just as strange to me. Like, even though I knew that I was different and I wasn't the norm, you still, well, we know now, you can't help how your brain's wired up. It's not like you're there being a rebel. You're literally like, I don't get it. I don't get what's going on. And Steph and I basically, do you remember in the beginning? And I was like, when we first started this podcast, I was like, oh, I think I had a nervous breakdown, but I don't have the terminology. Well, I have the terminology now. It's called ADHD burnout.
Yeah.
We figured it out. That's what happened. It was a very acute case of burnout in which basically I dropped all of the balls all at once and kind of fell into a hole. And at that time, it was really, really strange because Steph was one of the things that the wrecking ball kind of swung in and took out. And it took us, we didn't talk for about 2 years. Is that right? It's about 2 years.
About that, yeah.
And then in the end, what it took, and actually I wasn't even diagnosed when we finally reconnected, but what is
it was about 4 or 5 months later, wasn't it?
Yeah, what was interesting about it is what it took was like complete and utter honesty of like, it's unmasking.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that I was unmasking in doing that, because also I didn't know that I was masking in the first place.
Yeah.
You don't wake up in the morning and you go, oh, I'm going to be like, what's her name in, what's it? I was going to say it out of what's called Return to Oz, when she's got all those faces.
Oh, yeah.
You don't do that. You know, you're just basically running scared all the time. You don't even know what you're doing. And you don't know that that's not what's coming across. And that has happened in so many of my relationships, is that you don't realize that, one, people aren't mind readers, and two, you don't even know what you're projecting. So like, how do people understand how you feel, and you don't understand how you're coming across? And then it's just like this absolute chaos that ensues. And all that it actually takes is communication and being brave enough to tell the truth.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. It's just like, this is what that was all about. And then from the other end, you're like, oh, right, because this is what that looks like. And this is what I took from that. And bit by bit by bit, you break it down. It's like, well, that makes sense on both sides then, doesn't it? You know? And I feel
absolutely,
I feel like then from that point was then obviously getting diagnosed, and then more and more and more of everything making sense. And I feel like that is what's so important about the unmasking side of it. I feel like I've been talking for a million years, and I will get to the fucking point in a minute. But like, the point being, you know, it is kind of impossible to have really genuine, supportive relationships if you're not being genuine.
Yeah.
And you can't be genuine if you're hiding parts of yourself from people, and people can't be there for you, can't support you, because they can't fucking understand you. And so really, that's why it's so important to kind of be able to be honest. And I'm so proud of us, because from a relationship, from a point where at one point in time, we probably thought we would never speak to each other again, we speak to each other multiple times a day.
Yeah, it's like, when it first happened, it was like a massive loss, you know, but it just kind of felt like, you say, we'd sort of hit this brick wall, and the only thing that was sensible for both of us, well, certainly for me, was just to step away from that situation. And it took 2 years. I don't know if that's the right amount of time or a wrong amount of time, you know, maybe we could have done something sooner, maybe if certain situations hadn't happened, it might have taken longer, who knows. It didn't happen that way. What happened. But I just feel like, because we were able to at that point just have really open, honest conversation, enough time had settled that you know, and we were both coming from a place of love, and we were both coming from a place of wanting our friendship back desperately, to being able to work through it and try and get that level of understanding, because that is what had broken down in that first place. That we just couldn't, you know, we just lost all elements of communication completely.
And I think that
we just had to step away.
100%. And I think also it's really, really interesting, because we talk a lot about this idea of, or this notion of, sometimes our actions don't mirror our intentions. So it's only when you can kind of look at things objectively, you know, look instead of feeling, like looking and going, oh, okay, if you can't feel what I can feel, then that can look like that, you know, and that is not my intention, but that's how it looks. And so it's a bit like with Sophia Hilton, when she was talking about, when you can look at things through this lens of ADHD, you can see it a different way. That's not to say that the world should bend for us and we can behave however the fuck we want. It's just to say that perhaps with a bit of understanding and like a genuine understanding, you're in that position of honesty where you can go, look, I know you didn't mean it like that, but this is what this looks like.
Absolutely.
And blah, 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 instead of just taking it like, God, they've been an idiot. Whereas actually what you've got is people like us, and I'm sure many ADHDers like us, that really don't want to upset anybody. But end up upsetting everybody. But that's the last thing you want.
And so, just for our listeners, Steph, do you identify as ADHD yourself, or would you describe yourself as neurotypical?
She's neurotypical AF.
Yes, I am neurotypical. But like, having had the, you know, talking about this now and the conversations we've had in the past, and from that point of the honesty, you know, like we are able to have so much more honest conversations now, which has just helped our friendship moving forward no end, you know, endlessly. And the podcast has amazingly helped you to be able to talk about how you feel and to do that privately as well in our friendship situations too. And it's really helpful for me to listen and to, you know, chat with our other friends about it as well, so that we all have that understanding and keep that honesty and knowledge going. It's so important, you know. We are here, or, you know, I need to be here to support you, and I need to understand in order for that to be possible, you know. And having experienced it all from my point of view as your friend, from the very, very worst point of that to now probably the best we've ever been, you know, and understanding.
Been a wreck, but better.
But that knowledge, but it just helps, that knowledge, you know, and being able to understand even if I don't understand what's going on, just to have that, okay, you know, you explain it to me how you're feeling a lot more, and situations that are happening, and I can kind of tell now sometimes without you even saying, you know, she's feeling a little bit like this, so maybe I need to switch up how I'm acting or thinking, or we'll park that conversation and we'll come back to it, or something along those lines. You know, all of those kind of things. It's just that level of extra care in our friendship, I suppose.
I can't speak for everybody, but basically everyone I speak to who has ADHD has pretty severe RSD in some form or another. Correct. So here we are, and we're absolutely terrified of rejection. And that rejection can look like so many different things. And so that's why we're constantly saying sorry, and we're constantly like, oh, you know, trying to meet people's approval, trying to people please, is because we're afraid that they're going to reject us because we have low self-worth, because of undiagnosed ADHD, and round and round and round we go. But the point being is that at no point, okay, I'll lie, at some point in my life, I'm sure I have wanted to fight with people, but for the most part of my life, I've never wanted to upset anybody. I've never wanted to be angry. I've never wanted to cause anybody any harm. All I want to do is have fun. Seriously, that's all I've ever wanted. But the problem is, this is my life lesson, this is what I've learned, is that in avoiding conflict, in abandoning yourself, in trying to be what you think everybody else wants you to be, and that's bullshit, because you don't even know what the fuck that is. Actually, you have no idea what anybody else wants. But in trying to show up as this person that you want people to be, then you are being disingenuous, and that in itself is going to cause conflict. That's what I'm trying to say. So even though you're trying to save the conflict, you are basically the root cause of it, and it's going to come and get you anyway. And like the stupid shit, like when you forget somebody's birthday, you forget to ring, you forget that it's something important. Like I'm hypersensitive to that now. I'm always like, how's this person doing? Is that like constantly trying to juggle all that stuff? Like even that's too much. That's a form of masking. You know, you do have to have your own life within it all. But the point being, like, at least now when I fuck things up, I can just say, oh, I'm really sorry I forgot that, or I'm really sorry I can't do that. Whereas before I would have to create a lie within that. Because I didn't know I had ADHD, I would just think I was a bad person, or I was stupid, or I was mad. So I would have to create lies within that because I think I'm saving somebody else's feelings, when actually now you're just lying. And then that's going to cause problems. So anyway, I think there's something in there that I won't have rambled too much for that made some sense. But the point being is I wanted to share this as a bit of a beacon of hope, really, because there are so many of our listeners that have had horrible conflict with people that they care about. And let's be honest about it. That's what makes it horrible, is that you do actually care about that person. That's why it fucking hurts, is because you do miss that person. And so I just want them all to know that if we can not only even be in the same room together, we can actually basically speak to each other day and fucking night, and run and, you know, have multiple businesses and all the rest of
working with each other. Exactly.
So absolutely. For all of us. So just, you know, that's not to say that you should go back to any kind of awful situation, but if you have had crosswise miscommunications and feelings have been hurt, with a bit of time and a lot of honesty and a lot of self-inventory and accepting you know, again, not that the world should bend for us, accepting the part that you played in it, even though you didn't mean to, even though you had the exact opposite intentions. If you can do that, then miracles can happen and you can frolic in festival fields. Amen.
Yeah.
We're here.
And go into it with, like, I suppose, no expectations, you know, like we were when we first came back together, and we went just privately off to have, like, on neutral ground, to have a really honest conversation with one another. And I don't know, I think we both went in with our guards up, probably slightly, but as soon as we started talking, you know, it was just honesty and no expectations, and that worked really well for us, you know. It just allowed us to lay all our cards on the table and work a path back from there.
Yeah, absolutely. I do think it's difficult sometimes. I think that sometimes ADHDers, we are so in our heads that can be misconceived as being selfish.
Oh yeah.
Whereas actually sometimes you just can't fucking think straight. And so then that means you're constantly thinking about what your needs are, which can come across as not caring about another person's needs. And that's not to say that the other person in the relationship should just accept that they get to be ignored and that their feelings aren't as important. I don't mean that for a second. What I mean is it's as much work on the ADHDers part to try and recognize that they're doing that, and that we have a responsibility to the other people in our life. But at the same time, we can't help our ADHD, but it's work on both sides.
Absolutely.
Kind of thing.
It's that. It's the awareness of others and the self-awareness. Yeah. And then the communication in which it all comes together.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, I love this little story, and it's so great to see that you guys have been able to get through this, and now we're doing wonderful things together.
People have loved the earrings, loved the capes, and we've got more exciting things coming, and of course the Christmas tree decorations.
Yeah, the Christmas decorations are fab.
Every tree needs them.
Fantastic.
They are so cool.
And so there's still time to place your orders before Christmas.
There's not a lot of time.
Yeah, so I'm going to close. So worldwide is shut now, although I can get to Europe and Ireland if you get your order in by the 9th, and then UK will be the 15th, because the last Royal Mail guaranteed posting date is going to be the 16th. So if you get your order in on the 15th, then it means I can get it out to you on the 16th. So
yes, indeed. Yes, it's very, very exciting. And then in the new year, we will get our heads together and bring out even more amazingness.
Yeah.
We cannot wait.
Which we cannot wait for. It's so fantastic. But it's so exciting because it's just really, really lovely. Like Steph and I were talking before, and she was sort of saying that, like, obviously she's listened as my friend, but having been able to sort of learn about ADHD, it feels so valuable for neurotypical people to actually listen. And we've heard that
absolutely. You know, I think it's really important because to help with the acceptance as well. You know, like what you guys are trying to do with raising awareness of late stage diagnosis and things like late diagnosis. The more people know about it, not just within the ADHD community, because you're the ones who are trying to fight for it. You need everybody else to know about it as well, to fight your corner for you or with you as well. So, I just think you're fab.
It's so lovely to have you on board. It's so lovely to have your support. And Stephanie is just like a genius, a creative genius, the most fun person, the most fun neurotypical person I know.
Well, there we go.
Is there anything else you would like to share, Steph? Anything you would like to add?
Oh, I don't know. Follow me on Instagram. Follow our Emporium on Instagram. Because we've got so much. In fact, if you follow the Emporium for Christmas, I am planning quite a few from home karaoke sessions.
Oh, amazing.
Which might end on New Year's Eve with a very special one.
Special. Stephanie, a live performance? The stroke of midnight?
I could. I don't know how well it'll go down with the people I'm spending New Year's Eve with. I'm up for it.
I stop everything and pay attention.
Yeah. No kisses.
So just so everyone's totally on the same page, what's the handle for?
So I am at all the discos.
Yeah.
for jewellery and cake, and then at the Emporium of for everything festival fun.
Yeah, our quartet of creatives collaborating to spread sustainable style and sparkle in festival fields.
I love it.
No idea who wrote that.
And if you would like to check out the merch that we've got and place any orders before Christmas or after Christmas or any point, you can head to www.adhdsfemales.com and go over to the merchandise section.
Yes. And if you are a festival creator, an events coordinator, and you need 4 rave aunties to bring the party, then the Emporium of are for you. We have Leopard Print Sunday, which is something started in 2019, and it's become the uniform of a Sunday, and it works really well if you're hungover. You never lose your people. They're the only people that are head-to-toe in leopard print, but we want it to like spread around the world. And of course,
well, it's going to work really well until it spreads around the world.
But then it's great because they're on the same team, and now it's spread over into our leopard print army.
Yeah,
and so it all links up.
Amazing.
It is amazing. It's really, really amazing. And hopefully, well, not hopefully, we definitely will do some events of our own at some point, won't we, Donnie?
Absolutely.
Looking that we will need the Emporium there.
Absolutely. You can't have an event without me singing karaoke in a corner somewhere very badly, you know. So fighting with Dawn over it.
Karaoke battle.
Yeah. We just have to find all the duets. All right. Well, Stephanie, thank you so much for all of your hard work, for creating wonderful things and spreading such sparkle and joy the world over. And thank you for being a friend.
No, thank you.
Laura's not getting on the
karaoke. She knows that I've got a lot of Golden Girls stuff in my house as well. If it's not Angela Lansbury, it's the Golden Girls. So yeah.
Did you like my tree?
I do love your tree. Of course, I love your tree.
Any listeners need to have a look on the Emporium of and see my tree in inverted commas, who is actually
alternative tree,
one of our golden girls from the Emporium of.
I love it.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you ever so much for joining us.
Thank you for
have a lovely
me.
rest of evening. Love to the fam. And do make sure you all check out Stephanie's wonderful creations. And be kind to yourself.
Yes.
Big love. Bye.
Take care. Bye.
If you are finding this podcast helpful and you're in a position to do so, we are asking that you help us by signing up to our Patreon. In pledges starting at just £4 a month, it will give you access to our We Are ADHD AF community forum, in which we are both active members and we all support and learn from each other. You will also get access to behind-the-scenes content, exclusives, offers, blogs, vlogs, the works, everything in the kitchen sink. Your pledge will also mean that we will be able to continue to put out weekly episodes of ADHDers Females, the podcast.
Alternatively, if you would prefer just to make a donation, you can do so by visiting buymeacoffee.com/ADHD as females. We know that our words are helping people in 164 countries and counting.
We really appreciate your support in supporting us to continue supporting the ADHD community.
If you are ADHD AF and you want more ADHD AF, join the We Are ADHD AF community. www.patreon.com/ADHD as females.
ADHD as females. ADHD